One was in East Vancouver on Chandelier Place, and one was in Poco. I've been doing the Poco one a few times, but they were both pretty busy. I ran the Poco one by myself, but it was good.
Nice. Okay. Leads, pick up buyers.
Actually had a gentleman contact me last night. I was kind of bouncing back and forth with him, and he asked me to represent him to start going look around. So yeah, I got one.
Beautiful.
Still talking to some others, but yeah.
Nice. I find once you step out of that open house, the likelihood of anyone's contact info they give you or whatnot, of you actually capitalizing and turn that into a client or a deal is quite low. So setting that appointment the day out is really crucial, right? So
yeah, that's why I always, like, even before I sometimes leave the open house, once I've locked up, I just kind of sit in the unit and I just quickly just right then and there, while it's still kind of fresh in people's minds, just go out and contact, follow up, get it all done. Don't do it like way later at night or the next day. Just do it literally an hour after and keep it fresh in their heads.
And yours. Yeah, for sure. Good call.
Mm-hmm.
Good job, man. I mean, that's it. You just got to get out there and get after it and talk to enough people. And every day is an opportunity to someone new, and just one a day, put them in your database, like a solid lead like that, right? And you look back after 30 days and do you admit them, Amin? Yeah, cool. Who else? What happened this weekend? Let's hear some wins, ahas. Kick in the teeth is all right too, as long as you learn from it. What happened?
I sold and completed for my clients.
Good job.
So a buy and a sell end, both.
So you passed off keys?
No. I meant like we sold their property, and our offer got accepted on another property. So no, the pass off for the keys is the end of November.
Nice. But, close. Yeah.
Great to get them done.
Pressure off.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. This market's funny, but selling someone's house is great and all, and then all of a sudden, like, we got to find you something. Oh my God, I'm gonna make you homeless. And I have a friend who they sold their house like last year, and now they are renting, and they've sold someone from their church or something like that, and they just like are slowly falling away from the market. And they sold a detached house in Poco. They can't even afford a townhouse. They're likely and end up in a freaking condo here soon with their 2 kids. It's just like a sad story, because people like who they hired didn't understand what they were doing. They were just, someone through church that's not a professional and didn't set them up properly, have an honest conversation, whatever it had to be, right? And like, there is that risk out there for us to not hold people accountable to getting out there and like finding property and lining things up properly, or you can literally make people homeless. I'm not trying to scare anybody. I just want you to take the seriousness of the situation. And so that's why I say, like, the pressure's off, because there becomes a pressure situation when you have X amount of days. And it's just, you have to be honest with people about how quickly the market is moving, educate them around that kind of stuff, showing them stats, showing them, what things are selling for, over asking how many offers. I heard the 2 towers in Langley that just went up. Everyone saw those, like the first 2 towers in Langley. There was 250 units that went out. They had like the friends and family went out the one day, that the VVIPs went out the next day, and the VIPs never even got in. So like Trevor's VIP that we went to over the weekend, and went out there getting any deals together. I'm sure Kelly had a bunch for the Preston on the 14th there. Like, there's, I think, 90% sold over the weekend, right? This one didn't even get to the VIPs, right? This one was like, there's 5,000 offers for only 250 units for pre-sale. So it doesn't complete till like 2025, I think. So tons of time to assign it, right? And just a really, really good opportunity for people. And it's not cheap. It's like, they're pretty expensive stuff. So that's a good opportunity though, folks. Get people, like, we did a post on Friday or Thursday night at 10 I did a story at 10 p.m. and I got 2 leads. Wolvie got 3. Like we put, I think, 3 deals through over the weekend from one post of a story. It's just a really good opportunity. And I'm sure Kelly put about 30 deals through, right? So half of those are your guys' team, I bet, just from that VIP. But that's an exclusive opportunity. And you guys just need to share that kind of stuff when you see it. Put that out there. You have no idea who's watching. So like deals like couldn't be any easier. Show up, sign paperwork, get paid, not right away. But if you guys think about pre-sales as just being like, it's just future money. You got that, Amin? All right, we got lots of new people joining us. That's great. Who else? What other wins do we have? What was the weekend like? A couple more and then we'll get moving. Not all at once. Welcome.
Hello. Hi.
How was your weekend?
Good. How was yours?
Wonderful, thank you. What happened?
This weekend?
Yeah, you guys doing prospecting or any leads come in or new opportunities?
Not much yet, but I'm just planning on doing that. Hopefully this week.
Cool, awesome. We'll get you started. What are your intentions as far as what type of prospecting do you think you'd like to do?
I'm not really sure, to be honest.
Okay, we'll talk about it. I won't put you on the spot anymore. At the same time, everybody's got a few. I don't want you guys focusing on 15 different ways to prospect. I want you to maybe do 2 right now, right? So you got open houses, you got calls, door knocking, whatever those look like to you. But you can talk to your sphere. You can use social media if you're doing it purposely, reaching out to people, direct messaging people, right? And that's just another way of prospecting, but being purposeful around it, asking for business. That's the key. So did anyone else do anything real estate related this weekend?
I joined Gemma for an open home.
You did. How'd it go? What'd you think?
It was really cool. I got to speak to some of the people, or at least listen in, and then see how it actually works.
How did you feel about the conversations?
The conversations were, it flowed really nicely. Gemma told me that there was a script that she was using, but I didn't notice until after the conversation ended. And then she talked to the second person, and it was very, very similar.
It's like a sort of like a recipe.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? Put all the ingredients in, and then you come out with a baked cake and a client who signed a contract, right? So, or you can kind of wing it and see what happens, and sometimes it burns, sometimes it comes out miraculously delicious, but often enough, it's not the way you thought it would go because you're not following the script or the conversation leads you to an appointment. That's the key. And so we practice that, and we call it a script, call it a conversation, whatever you want to call it. At the end of the day, you're leading someone down a path, asking great questions, engaging them, testing their motivation, trial closing, and eventually it comes to the point where they see enough value in you, and you may have asked a question no one's ever asked them before. And that's what it's really cool is when you ask a couple questions to a couple, and they're looking at each other like, I've never even thought about that. It's a really good point. And now you're like, oh, now I'm a consultant. Now I'm not a salesperson, right? And it's a good hat to wear. Cool. Good job, man. I'm glad you joined Gemma. You're in good hands there. She's a great mentor and keeps it fun and interesting for sure. So welcome.
Thank you.
Anybody else want to? That's it. We got a couple people out in the streets hustling. Maz, you must have done something real estate related. Come on, man. Last one.
Yeah, just a couple of showings. So I took a client of mine and showed them 4 properties, 2 condos, 1 townhouse, 1 house. Get them different idea. They started from a condo, but the price has gone up. And then they moved up to the townhouse, but they didn't listen to me anyways. Now they regret. So now the townhouse has gone up. So the condo has been staying in the market for nearly 2 months or sometimes more in the area has gone so fast. So now the condo price is going to increase to catch up with the townhouse. So now they're thinking, what if we get a house? Then I told him, okay, that's also another option if you can afford it. But the house with this price range, they didn't like the quality. So we may end up basically offering either of these two condos tomorrow. So I already got the strata document. Let's see how it goes. We already, for this particular client, that would be the 5th offer I submitted, but never won anything so far. It's a bidding war.
Yeah. Well, hopefully they are starting to learn how quickly the market's moving and what, if they're entering into a gunfight with a spoon or a banana, then you may end up needing to teach them how much over asking they need to show up and how clean the offers need to be and so forth, right? So
that's correct.
Just part of the process. 5 offers is a lot for people to not have learned, but sometimes you just have to have that more honest conversation. Maybe it has to be that their beer budget, champagne taste don't line up, right?
Yeah.
And maybe they need to be willing to do a little bit of lipstick or sweat equity in order to buy something that needs a little that not everybody's willing to do. And I had a conversation with someone this weekend. Was it you, Nick? I don't know who it was. Doesn't matter. I talked to a lot of people. 30 plus people are willing to do a little bit of sweat equity. Fair? 35 for sure. Someone who's 40 years old, they still probably have learned the skills from a parent, and they're actually willing to pick up some tools and actually do some work on a property and make it better. But anyone under 30 doesn't know how to do it, doesn't know how to get the materials, doesn't know how to manage trades, and they're only going to take turnkey properties unless they're in the trades, unless they've actually got, like, they're a carpenter or a plumber or something like that. They actually understand that stuff. But if they're not, like, it's a really hard thing to turn people on to a property that needs a coat of paint, right? And that's stupid. It is, but it's the truth. And so part of your job as a consultant is like, do you see the value? And like walking into a home that's like got pink walls, is it worth walking away from that? Because a lot of people do, and a lot of our buyers will do that if we don't show them the path towards, okay, well, how much is a coat of paint on an apartment, an 800 square foot apartment cost? This is where you guys participate. Two coats of paint.
3,000.
I want to chip in.
I don't know.
$300 to $500.
Who's painting, I guess, first of all, right? Right? Are you painting? Yeah, it's like $100 in paint. But if you're going to hire someone to do it,
I think if it's a professional painter, it should be somewhere around 2,000 to 2,500. Professional painter with the high quality paint. I don't know. That's just my thought.
so we have a fun exercise in class. We can do it here too, where we'll just say, okay, how much for floors, how much for paint, how much for a furnace, how much for a roof, how much for these things. And you will just be blown away by everyone in this room's valuation of each of those items. Like one person is coat of paint, $1,000. One person is $10,000. And neither of them are wrong. But one person might be like West Van, gorgeous, top of the line paint job. And one person is me and my dad did it. Neither are wrong, right? But this is where you guys want to start testing this stuff out, figuring these things out, talking to painters, talking to carpenters, talking to flooring people, talking to plumbers, all these things, and understanding what are the costs of updating or just putting some lipstick on a place and being able to put a deal together that you guys thought was your buyers are willing to walk away from it for a $2,000 paint job. And it's like, well, other people are walking away from it too. And now you have an opportunity to get in here and not be in multiple offers versus writing 5 offers. Super frustrating, right? So how do you put those deals together? First of all, if you have that background, great. If not, in the wiki site, there's a list of costs for renovation. It's a little bit outdated. It's probably 5 years outdated, I bet by now. So add 20%. And knowing now that carpenters, plumbers, all these trades are super backed up, you have to give more time too, right? So you can't necessarily expect these guys are like, okay, turn around and get floors in next week. No, it could be a month before you get to actually get that stuff done, just because trades are like at a premium right now, and they may actually end up costing a little bit more money than what they probably are worth. But you kind of have the triangle of trades, right? You have like price, time, and quality. Which one do you want? Can't have all three. You can have two, but you can't usually get three. If you do get three, then keep that person nearby. All right, I think you guys have been busy. I'd like to see more people shouting out what they did over the weekend, because right now, like this is a good fall market. We got another month, maybe 6 weeks of the fall market, and then it's like Christmas. Nobody wants to talk real estate anymore, right? So you guys, there's opportunities if you have buyers, then you see listings out there. People are actually like, oh, actually, we'll start to negotiate a bit, because a lot of the buyers aren't willing to move or just do that kind of stuff over Christmas. So December, a lot of realtors go on holidays. People just go away, and there's definitely a chance to get some of these buyers off our plates, or very motivated sellers, right? That's a good problem. So finding those people, though, they're fewer and far between. So you got to just work a little harder over the holidays. Not that I'm saying you guys aren't working hard, but you got about 6 weeks here to really put the hammer down and find these people, connect with them, get them out. If you meet them at open house that could buy next weekend, that won't happen likely in December. They won't move till February, but you got to eat in January, right? So start thinking, how am I going to fill my pipeline the next 6 weeks that should pay out 6 weeks after that, hopefully, so to speak. That makes sense? All right, so we gave you guys some homework last week. It was to go through the 411s. So we have a bunch of new people here. And what I think I'll do is I'm going to go through my 411 one more time with you guys real quick, just to kind of show what that looked like. And then those of you that did your 411s will break out into some breakout rooms. We got 17 groups of people on the call right now. So maybe we'll get into like groups of, there's 3 coaches, so just groups of 3. And we're going to go through your 411s together for a little bit and just talk about it. If you guys are okay to share your goals, it's important to put them out there. The more you share, the more likely you're going to be held accountable. And this is called horizontal accountability. If I say something to this group, I don't want to look like an asshole next year. So might as well purposely put it out there, and it looks like I'm actually going to do what I'm going to say I'm going to do. So don't be afraid of your goals is my point. I hope you guys are comfortable enough to share them. If you haven't done your 411 yet, you can see other people's that have and what that looks like. Make sense? So it's going to quickly present my screen. Let me know when you can see it. I have to blow it up a bit. I look good, H? Good enough? All right, so 2022 goals. So annual job goals. So mine are a little bit different from yours. Mine would be recruiting business to business, my sphere, and then listing appointments. You may have more door knocking, cold calling, purposeful lead generation. So open houses. So I don't really do open houses much anymore. I try to give them to people on my team, or even for you guys, try to offer open houses that are available. So maybe 48 open houses would be here for you guys. Okay. So GCI. So what do you actually want to take out of your business? So your gross commission, how many units you want to sell, what those look like. This is again for my team. So purposeful around, if you want to make $100,000 GCI next year, how many units is that? And have you done the math? Let's just say it's probably around 12 units or so to hit that number. If you're like 8,000 GCI average, makes sense? But you got your cap, and you got your royalty on top of that as well. And then what are you actually taking out of that? So what's your take home? So if you want 100,000 take home, what does that look like? And knowing your numbers so that you know how many units. So that might be closer to like 15 units, something like that. Okay. Personal financial goals, just understand, like, so I just making sure I always pay down my line of credit, saving for taxes, buy investment property, and putting money towards my net worth. Personal goals, vacations, time with my kids, my own personal exercise, date night with my wife, taking a day off, really purposeful around that, and read books. I'm slower to read than I used to be. Time is slowing down in the evenings. So divide by 12, simple enough. Okay. So recruiting means, again, this is just very simple math here for you guys. And then again, divided by 12. I'll leave that there if you guys will peek at it. The Meetings, though, I want you guys to understand. So if we're using these 4, this can really be for a month of each of these. I can probably do these over a weekend. One recruiting meeting, one vendor meeting, one sphere meeting. That can be like a Saturday, Sunday. That could be a Tuesday, Wednesday, and that's it. And everything else should meet my goals. So if it was you guys, one open house, knock 100 doors, do 25 expireds, and then breaking it down again, divided by 4 for the month, right? And so forth. And then everything else gets pulled through. But this is how I know. I look at this, and this is how I set up my calendar. So I know that every week I need to have one meeting with each of these 4, and everything else will work out. If I don't have this recruiting meeting this week, I now owe 2 over here. So I have 2 recruiting meetings that need to be done. Simple enough. So you guys were sent the 411. Any questions on that? Go ahead, Rylan.
Yeah. I wasn't here for the last week. I don't have this, but I would love to have it if you could send a link or just send it my way.
Yeah, I'm gonna get it to you right now. Just, I'm actually gonna put it in the
Yeah,
chat.
thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
4-1 link. Hang tight 1 sec. Anyone else have any questions on it?
So in this exercise, like we're setting goals with concrete plans, and then we're going to put them into our calendar so we can schedule them as a day-to-day. There was a Harvard study done back in 1979. You can Google it. They asked all the students whether they had plans or not, and whether they had goals with concrete plans, right? 84% of those students had no goals. They just wanted to wing it. They're going to a really prestigious school. Maybe they were silver spoon babies. Maybe they got in through their parents' hookups, like that Netflix documentary. I don't know, but 84% of them had no goals whatsoever. Okay, 13% of them, they had a goal but no concrete plan, and only 3% had a goal with a concrete plan, saying this is what I'm going to do, here's how I'm going to get there, and this is when I'm going to get there. 10 years later, this study went back to those exact same students, and of course, like the 84%, most of them aren't making as much as the other people who had goals. So 10 years later, the 13% who had written their goals but no concrete plans were making twice as much as the folks that didn't have any goals. Except the kicker is that the 3% who had written their goals with the concrete plan were making 10 times more than the other 97% of the class. 10 times, just because they had their goals written down with a plan in their schedule.
Wow.
Write it down and then follow a schedule. This is how simple this business is. And there's a quote in bold and Keller Williams all over the place. It's not about selling real estate. It's about following a schedule. And if your schedule is prepared and set up for success, and all you do is get up in the morning, look at your schedule. Okay, I got to do this now for 2 hours. Okay, I'm doing this. Okay, I'm doing this. Otherwise, who here has had a job and someone else tells you, hey, you got to do this right now. Hey, you got to do that. Now you're doing this. It's the same thing. But you have to tell yourself, I'm going to do these activities and follow through and do them, or someone else is going to end up telling you. And what happens is we get into this thing. We're like, well, I'm my own boss. I create my own schedule. I'm going to get my dry cleaning today, and then I'm going to go to the gym, and then I'm going to do this. I'm going to follow up with a couple people, and then it'll work out. But it doesn't work out. And that's why there's an 87% attrition rate in this business, because most people don't know how to follow a schedule and be their own boss. They don't understand. It's a very simple business. It truly is simple, you guys. It's just doing the right activities consistently, and then you get freedom, financial freedom, the ability to do what you want, when you want, once you've done what you're supposed to do. So I put in a second link just now. So this is a couple years ago, 411. So you might want to use that as a template. Actually, why don't I just go over it again with the group before we jump into our, I've showed this before last week too. I try to, just because there's so many new people here, it's probably best to just do it again. So bear with me if you've already seen it, but I think it's important to go through real quick so you guys get the concepts when you guys are filling out your own stuff. So this is what I'm saying. So if you can see like the open houses, door knocks, 240 expired doors. And again, expires aren't as important these days. They're really hard to find. 48 vendor meetings and 48 sphere meetings per year. The GCI and the units. Notice that my GCI is lower here and less units. I find that if I work with more purposeful around the type of people I'm selling and charging more commission, less money or less work, more money. So yeah, and just to put it out there, every single thing happened except for COVID. We didn't go on one of our family vacations because we went in January, but we didn't go to our we're going to go to Legoland with the kids in June or May or something like that. But COVID shut that down. But everything else here happened because it was written down. So again, dropping down 48 divided by 12. So 4 open houses a month, knocking 200 doors, expireds. Probably didn't do the expireds, to be honest, just because, again, there's not so many expireds, and I think I had to pivot from there, the vendor meetings. But here's this is the aha for you guys is, let's just say on Saturday, I go out and knock 50 doors around my open house from 10 till 1:30. I go do my open house from 2 to 4. I could have easily done my 5 expired knocks from 11 till 12 or 10:30 till 12 before I did my knocks. I had a vendor meeting coffee for 10 o'clock, or it can do it after my open house. And I had a sphere meeting that night. I could have just a beer with one of my referral sources, like one of my ambassador clients. And that is it. And that is my week. In one day, I've accomplished everything I needed to do to carry me down through the rest of all this. All my monthly goals are met. Just doing that in one day, you guys. That should just blow your mind. Like, you don't have to work that hard. You have to work smart. And you can accomplish a lot of stuff. I'm not saying you have to do it in one day. That seems a little extreme. But if you're going to go on vacation next week and I said, you got to get all this stuff done, you could do it one day. I bet you could. You could do it real quick, but you could do it in a half a day, right? Be very purposeful with your time. So that's in there as a template for you guys. Ahmed, can you break us up into groups of 3 and we'll jump into 401s here for a little bit. Does anyone have any questions on that one real quick before we split up? God, you guys are so quiet and respectful.
Everyone has the links and the documents open before we jump over.
Yeah, everyone definitely pull the docs off of this so I don't have to resend it. If you haven't clicked on those. Hi, Kelly. Hi, Cam. All right. We'll see you there. See you at the next breakout.